Today, we are talking about fall fun. This is meant to be a fun episode. Welcome to the Perrysburg Podcast, episode 66. I am your host and Perrysburg resident, Kim Newlove. This is an informational podcast for prospective, new, and current Perrysburg, Ohio residents. We talk about what's in Perrysburg and why people like to live here. You can find the show notes on perrysburgpodcast.com. I am publishing this episode on Friday, October 25th, 2024, but the very first day of fall was September 22nd. I realize that this episode may be a little late for you to use the information this year, but the magical thing about podcast episodes is that you can listen to this next year in September of 2025 and use the information next fall. This episode has 4 parts, or 4 topics, so to speak. What I'm going to do first is tell you about my family's Fall of Fun. That's what we call it, the Fall of Fun. Second, I'll tell you about some activities that my kids have outgrown. I have 2 adult children. Third, I will tell you about some of the fun fall activities that I've heard of since moving to Perrysburg. And fourth and finally, I'll tell you where you can find information about fun fall activities. Let's start with my family's Fall of Fun first. What is the Fall of Fun? The Fall of Fun is just a list of activities that we like to do when fall rolls around every year. The list has been evolving as my family has grown. Now, depending on how busy we are and our other commitments during fall, we may only do a fraction of what's on the list. My family consists of my husband, Nathan, our 2 adult sons, Craig and Derek, and me. So we're a family of 4. New love, party of 4. Our son, Derek, is off at college. He goes to the University of Cincinnati, but our other son, Craig, is still in high school. When Derek was in high school, too, his cross-country season really competed with the Fall of Fun, so we had to kind of pick and choose what we did. We did less stuff on our list when Derek was in high school. Now that Derek's off at college, I feel like we're back to doing a lot of fun fall activities. But now it's just Nathan, Craig, and me. I'm not going to lie, it's a little different when one goes off to college. All right, let's get to what's on the list. I have a list of 21 things. Again, we don't do all of these every single year, but this is my list of 21 things. And first, I just want to let you know that not all of these things are in Perrysburg. In general, they are in Northwest Ohio and Southeastern Michigan. I'll put the list in the show notes on perrysburgpodcast.com. Number 1, Perrysburg High School Friday night football games. Those are always exciting. We like to watch the football game and listen to the band. Number 2, cheer for the Cleveland Browns. Number 3, go to Gwen's Gourds and Pete's Pumpkins. Number 4, Leader's Family Farm in Napoleon, Ohio. They have a corn maze, a hayride that goes through a creek, so you get to drive through water, which is fun, and yard games. Number 5, Erie Orchards in Erie, Michigan. They have a hayride. You get to pick apples. You can buy cider and donuts. I personally like their apple fritters. It's a great place. Number 6, Trabic Family Farm. That one also is in Erie, Michigan. They have a hayride that we love. Not only do you get to eat popcorn on this hayride, but during the hayride, you also get to stop in a pumpkin field, pick a pumpkin. It's a pie-sized pumpkin, and you get to bring it home with you, which is cool, 1 per person. And they also give you a donut and cider after the hayride. Love Trabic Family Farm, wholesome family fun. Number 7, Cedar Point Halloweekends. Need I say more? Sandusky, Ohio is the place to be for fall fun. Halloweekends is roller coasters and all kinds of fall decor, photo ops, mostly the rides, of course, right? Cedar Point is a family tradition. If we don't make it out to Halloweekends, man, we're a little bit disappointed. We love Halloweekends. Number 8, Grand Rapids Apple Butter Festival. I didn't make it out to this one this year, but I think it rained, so I hope it went well for them, but it wouldn't have been a good weekend to go anyways. Number 9, fry pie night at my church. I go to Lutheran Church of the Master, which is on Simmons Road, which is on the east side of Perrysburg, and we have what's called a fry pie night. What we do is we have a campfire in the backyard of the church because we're kind of out in the township. We're in the country a little bit there, and we get fry pie irons. If you've never done this before, basically it's making sandwiches over a fire. If you can imagine, this is something Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts do, but we do it. We make pizza sandwiches, ham and cheese sandwiches. We make dessert type sandwiches. You take 2 pieces of bread, you put some apple filling in there, you cook it over the fire, and boom, you've got an apple pie. It's pretty good. Anyways, fry pie night at my church is an annual favorite. My husband was out of town and I could not handle my son Craig all by myself. He's got special needs, so I did not go to this. And I'm kind of sad because I love fry pie night. Number 10 is Perrysburg's Homecoming Festival Parade. This is an annual tradition in Perrysburg, and it used to be called Harrison Rally Day. So if you're a prospective Perrysburg resident and you're looking at pictures, you found them on the internet, and you're looking for this homecoming festival, you may see that the homecoming festival used to be called Harrison Rally Day. And my church has a tent there where they pass out pencils and crosses and information, just to increase awareness about our church in the community. But there's also a parade, and this tends to be the longest parade in Perrysburg all year. Again, it's called the Perrysburg Homecoming Festival and Parade. That does it for number 10. Let's move on to 11, Fleet's Pumpkin Farm in Oregon, Ohio. Fleet's Pumpkin Farm. We love the donuts there, but at Fleet's, I've also done a lot of the yard activities. Like you can get a picture of your child standing next to this board. It looks like a measurement board, and you take pictures as they grow up and you compare them every year. I have all kinds of pictures, not just from Fleet's, but also from Trabics and leaders, just measuring my kids as they got older and taller. My kids really liked this place better when they were younger. We don't really go there that often anymore, but I have bought pumpkins there, mums, gourds, done the fall activities like the corn maze, the hayride. It's a lot of fun. Fleet's Pumpkin Farm, Oregon, Ohio. Number 12, McQueen's Orchard. McQueen's is located, I believe, in Holland, Ohio, that Maumee, Holland area. You can shop at the store, look through the apple orchard, pick apples. It's a nice place to go. I recommend McQueen's Orchard. Number 13, the University of Toledo Homecoming Parade and Game. I and my husband were both alumni of the University of Toledo. My husband went to engineering school there. He's a mechanical engineer. And I went to pharmacy school there. So I'm a pharmacist by training. And sometimes we like to go back for the parade and then stay for the game. That's on our Fall of Fun list. Number 14 is make a pumpkin pie or pumpkin bread. This year, I think we're going to take our pumpkin from the Trabic family farm and bake it, mash it up, and make a homemade pumpkin pie. I have never done it totally from scratch. This might be my year. Number 15 is eat pumpkin pancakes at IHOP. IHOP, which is on Route 20 here in Perrysburg. We already did this one. I had the pumpkin pancakes. They were great. Number 16 is decorate the house and the lawn, hang up lights outside, and carve a pumpkin. Basically, number 16 is decorating. It's part of the Fall of Fun. Number 17 is watch Halloween movies like Ghostbusters, It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, and other movies too. Harry Potter's a good one. Or watching music videos, kind of like, Thriller, the Thriller music video with Michael Jackson in it. That's a classic. So number 17, watch Halloween-themed shows, movies, and music videos. Number 18, listen to a Halloween-themed music playlist. I have a music playlist labeled Halloween 2023 on my phone, and I have been using it here in 2024. Number 19, we're almost at the end here. Number 19 is drink a pumpkin spice flavored latte. I think I did that over at Georgette's in Maumee, Georgette's coffee shop in Maumee. And that was part of the Coffee Quest 419. I think that might have been my third coffee shop. I think that's where I got my sticker this year. Moving on, number 20, eat pumpkin flavored ice cream. I got some pumpkin flavored ice cream across the bridge there in Maumee at Jackie's Depot. And finally, number 21, pass out candy on Halloween. You can't have the fall of fun without passing out candy on Halloween. I enjoy watching the trick or treaters come around the neighborhood and give them candy. That ends my fall of fun list. You may be wondering how some of this stuff ended up on our fall of fun list. And it's because we started our family in Toledo and we kept some of our Toledo area and southeastern Michigan area traditions alive after we moved. Let's move on. This is the second part of the episode, stuff that my kids have outgrown. I mentioned earlier that my kids are both adults. They're adult-aged children. Derek is the younger one. He's in college. Craig's the older one. And believe it or not, he's still in high school because he's in a deferred graduation program at Perrysburg High School. Now, with that in mind, that we're all adults now, you just heard about my current fall of fun list. When my kids were younger, we also used to do a number of other things like these 5 things. I'll go ahead and name them first, and then I'll explain each one briefly. Number 1, Halloween parties at school. Number 2, Little Boo at the zoo and the pumpkin path too. Number 3, trunk or treat. Number 4, jumping in piles of leaves. And number 5, McQueen's Orchard's annual Apple Butter Festival. All right, back to number 1. Number 1 was the Halloween parties at school. From preschool through 5th grade, I was one of those parents who volunteered for the room parties. God bless teachers. This has got to be one crazy day for them, but they allow us parents to come to the room, help the kids get dressed up into their costumes, and provide activities and snacks. And we all have such a good time. I should use past tense because sadly my kids are too old for this, but I would be there for them and I enjoyed it. They loved it. And I got to meet my kids' friends. It was great. And then I would line up on the sidewalk and watch the kids parade literally around the school. The kids would get on the sidewalk, they'd walk on the sidewalk surrounding the school, there at the elementary school, and then all the parents could see everybody's costumes from the littlest kids through the biggest kids. And it was fun. Number 2 is Little Boo at the zoo and the Pumpkin Path, and those are both at Toledo Zoo. I don't think they do this anymore, but when my kids were little, this would have been around 2007-ish, 2009, and beyond until my kids outgrew it. Toledo Zoo had these Halloween-themed events, and the kids would dress up in their costumes. They'd walk around and collect candy, play on inflatables, and do crafts and activities. It was a lot of fun. Check out toledozoo.org to learn about whatever the current fall activities are. The number 3 thing that my kids have outgrown is trunk or treat at various churches and schools and businesses. So when my kids were little, it was kind of a new thing for people to have this thing called trunk or treat. Basically, a bunch of cars would get together in a parking lot and they would dress up the cars or the trunk of the car and have candy, and the kids would go around and trick or treat out of these car trunks. I found it to be fun. There was a certain age where my kids absolutely loved this. So I will say that when Derek, my younger son, was at St. Rose for kindergarten, he really enjoyed the trunk or treat there. St. Rose did a great job. And for my son, Craig, who went to speech therapy in Toledo at Rehab Dynamics on, I think it was Central Park West Drive, they would have a trunk or treat every once in a while as well. Both of my kids liked that. It was a lot of fun. Again, my kids outgrew trunk or treat and trick or treating as well. So it's not on the list anymore. It didn't make the fall of fun list, but we have good memories. If you would like to try a trunk or treat, which again is trick or treating out of a trunk of a car in a parking lot with safe people, Keep an eye out. Local car dealerships, churches, businesses, and more still do trunk or treat activities around Halloween. Just two more on the list. Number four, this again is something that my kids have outgrown, jumping in piles of leaves. We had four huge trees in my backyard at one point when my kids were growing up, and they loved it when we would rake the leaves into piles and they could jump in them. This is super old school. They outgrew this, of course, but it's still fun for kids of all ages if you're still into it. If you have a lot of leaves, rake them up and jump into them this fall. And by the way, right now, the city of Perrysburg's leaf collection is underway. I believe it started October 14th. So now is the time to rake your leaves, anyways. So if you want to jump in them after you rake them, have at it. And if you have a teenager who wants to earn a little extra money, teach them how to go door to door and make some money raking leaves. And number five, my kids have kind of outgrown the McQueen's Orchard's annual Apple Butter Festival. They used to have all kinds of rides and things, and there were pony rides and things like that. Now, that Apple Butter Festival there at McQueen's Orchard was October 5th and 6th this year. But, people of all ages do attend this. It just didn't make the Fall of Fun list for us anymore. We will intentionally go to the orchard to buy apples or things from the store like cider, donuts, anything that looks tasty. But we just don't go to the Apple Butter Festival anymore. We probably have not been to the Apple Butter Festival for at least, I would say, 5 years. But if you have kids of a certain age or you like that sort of thing at any age, don't miss the McQueen's Orchard annual Apple Butter Festival each October. That does it for my list of things that my kids have outgrown and we have therefore stopped doing. They're not on our Fall of Fun list anymore. Although we do still rake our leaves, come to think of it, we just don't jump into the piles anymore. Next up is part three of this episode. This is my list of other fall activities, some of which we do and some of which might be your favorites. Here we go. Number one, campfires at neighbors' houses. Number two, the Perrysburg Farmers Market is still going on every Thursday until early October, usually I think the second Thursday in October. Number three, the Race for the Cure in Toledo. That's typically the last Sunday in September. Number four, watch the leaves change. They turn such beautiful colors, not just at the parks, but in your own neighborhood too. Perrysburg has a lot of trees. Number five, Wood County Parks events. For example, on October 5th, so this was in the past already, this has already happened, there's the Heritage Farm Festival at Carter Historic Farm. Number six, Toledo Metro Parks events. Like, for example, there's two going on that I'll mention. There is something going on at the Canley Treehouse Village, October 27th in the evening, 4:45 to 8 p.m. And then at Wildwood Metro Park in Toledo, at the Manor House, they are having Erie Manor tours. Apparently, the Manor House has been dressed up for Halloween, and you can tour the house. To learn more about those fall events, those fun fall events, visit metroparkstoledo.com. And while you're there, sign up for the newsletter and get that information sent straight to you. Number seven is the Pumpkin Patch. That's at the funeral home, the one and only funeral home that we have here in Perrysburg. It's called Whitzler Shank Walker Funeral Home. You can donate a food item to the PCU food pantry and get a free pumpkin. They also have face painting, a clown with balloons, goodies, treats, and more. And I believe this was actually October 19th. So as I record this, this has already passed. Keep this in mind for next year. Number eight, the Perrysburg Chorale is having a Haunted Harmonies concert on Sunday, October 27th at Way Library. Number nine, there are car shows at the Oh Dear Diner every fall, September through October. I think they stop in mid-October. And Penta also had a cruise-in, which is a car show. Number 10, The Slow Rollers. This is a group of bicyclists that meet up at the Country Charm Plaza at 7 p.m. every Monday through October 28th. And you can ride your bike at, I think it's 7 miles per hour or thereabouts through Perrysburg for about an hour. Other fall activities, number 11, we've got the Fall Festival at my church, Lutheran Church of the Master. It's a fall festival for kids every October. Games, prizes, fall fun. Number 12, the Rossford Halloween Parade. I know it's not in Perrysburg, okay, but it's just in the community just to our east, Rossford, and I thought I'd mention it in case your kids want to go to a Halloween parade. Number 13, Fort Meg's Garrison Ghost Walk. I have still never been to this. I've been in Perrysburg for 18 falls now and still have not gone to this, but they advertise it every year in October. The Garrison Ghost Walk is coming up in October. Number 14, Camp Miaconda has a community Halloween party on October 19th. As I record this, it's in the past, but you can look out for this next October. Number 15, I've just got 2 left on my list here. Number 15 is the Fall into Rotary Park event, which just was last weekend, October 20th. They have done this every year for 3 or 4 years now, and it's a free fall fun event. They've got activities and food. This event is provided, according to the article I read in the Perrysburg Messenger Journal newspaper, it is provided by the Perrysburg Rotary Club, Perrysburg Rotary Community Foundation, McGivern Jewelers, and a few other sponsors. Attendees are asked to bring a non-perishable food item for the Perrysburg Heights Community Center food pantry, and as far as I know, it's a lot of fun. I always see pictures in the paper after the event. And finally, number 16, craft shows. I have 2 things on my list here. Apparently, there is a craft show at the Premier Banquet Hall on Heather Downs Road every October. It was October 19th and 20th this year. And Pemberville is having theirs this weekend on October 26th from 9 a to 3 p. So again, Pemberville Harvest Gathering Craft Show, October 26th, 9 o'clock in the morning till 3 p.m. And that does it for my list of other fall activities that I have either heard about or been to maybe once. Now, I'd like to tell you where you can find information about fun fall activities in and around Perrysburg. I have 10 sources of information on my list, and I want to encourage you to sign up for these resources. Get the information to come to you so you don't have to track it down. That's what I do. I love it when the information comes to me. I may get inundated with emails, but at this time of the year, if I want to know what's going on for fall fun, I want these newsletters and other resources to come to me. Here we go. I have a list of 10. First up is Perrysburg Messenger Journal. The Perrysburg Messenger Journal is our local newspaper. Go ahead and look at the Perrysburg and area community calendar in the newspaper, but also throughout the pages, you will see fun fall activities advertised. I recommend you subscribe to the Perrysburg Messenger Journal newspaper, get the digital version and also the printed version. That's my recommendation. I think they do a great job publishing fun fall activities every week in September and October. And a subscription is very affordable. Their website is perrysburg.com. Check that out today. Number 2 is Way Public Library. Great source of information. They have a website, of course. It is waylibrary.info. While you're on the website there, sign up for their newsletter. Get the information to come to you. Number 3, the Wood County Parks. Great source of information. When you go to their website, sign up for their newsletter too. They call it e-news. Number 4, Toledo Metro Parks. Same deal. Go to the website, sign up for the newsletter. That's where you'll find out about this event at the Treehouse Village and the Erie Manor tours. So go to the Toledo Metro Parks website. I'll have a link to that in the show notes on perrysburgpodcast.com. Number 5, schools. Your child's school might have some activities at the school, or they might be able to, share some information with you about activities that they recommend. So just check that out. They might have information about the room party for Halloween or trunk or treat nights at the school or someplace safe that they recommend. Schools can be a great source of information. Number 6, the 577 Foundation. You can check out their website to find out about fun fall classes. Like I saw they have an Herbs of the Cauldron class. It's called Herbs of the Cauldron. It's a class at the 577. That's on October 31st. How fun. Sign up for the newsletter when you visit the website. The 577 Foundation is a great source of information. Number 7, Perrysburg Living Magazine. Perrysburg Living Magazine has some events listed. I think it's towards the very, very end of the magazine. If you don't get this free magazine yet, you can request to be added to their mailing list. I'll put contact information for Perrysburg Living Magazine in the show notes on perrysburgpodcast.com. Number 8, the Buzz Book. The Buzz Book, you can either check out the printed version, it's available at local coffee shops. I believe the library has some copies. And they also have an online version that you can check out, which is great. They have fall themed information and dates of things going on. Grab a free copy in the community. Check out their website. The Buzz Book is a great source of information. Number 9, we're almost at the end here. Number 9, Facebook and Instagram or just social media in general is a great source of information. For example, the Perrysburg, Ohio Facebook group has a lot of great information where people are talking about things that either have happened past tense or are going to happen future tense. And you can keep an eye out for these things next year if you've missed them or plan on doing them this year if they're talking about it for the future. Now, when you sign up for things on social media, like you follow somebody on Instagram or you like somebody on Facebook, their content will become part of your feed. If you are experienced with social media, I know you get this, but for anybody who doesn't realize the benefits of using social media and liking things and following things, please like and follow anything that gives you information, like the library, the parks, the 577 Foundation, and more. Again, once you follow those pages, their information about fun fall activities will wind up in your feed. It's great when the information comes to you. And finally, number 10, a great source of information about fun fall activities is your neighbors and friends. Your neighbors and friends are great sources of information about fun fall activities. Ask them what they know, and you might learn about something new. That does it for my 10 sources of information about fun fall activities in and around Perrysburg. I'm sure you can also Google things, look at the Toledo Blade online, or find other sources of information. But if you are a prospective, new, or current Perrysburg, Ohio resident, I think the 10 that I mentioned will give you a great start. That does it for the Fall Fun episode of the Perrysburg podcast. I will have links to many of the places and sources of information that I mentioned today. I will put those in the show notes on perrysburgpodcast.com. Plus, I'll try to put my lists in the show notes too. That was a lot of information. I'll try to make it as concise as possible. If you would like to be notified by email about each new episode of the Perrysburg podcast, go ahead and sign up for the newsletter on perrysburgpodcast.com. You can also get out your smartphone right now and subscribe to or follow the Perrysburg podcast on your favorite podcast player and YouTube to get each new episode right when it comes out. Go ahead and share this episode with anyone you think might enjoy it. Thank you for listening today. Get out there and enjoy the last weekend of October. Have a safe Halloween and make yourself a fall of fun list for next year. Thanks again for listening. I'll talk to you next Friday.